Off the top of 5, we begin with the very latest out of Washington, D.C. Former President Donald Trump has pled not guilty to federal conspiracy charges in the 2020 election. You can see this is the motorcade right now leaving that federal courthouse back to Reagan National Airport. We don't know if the president will make any remarks. We don't expect any detours along the way, unlike what we saw here in Miami when he made that unexpected stop in Versailles. I don't think there's the equivalent of Versailles in Washington, D.C., so we expect the president might say something at the airport. We'll wait and see.
Right. This marks Trump's third indictment in just a matter of months, something never before seen in American history. Trump
coming face to face with special counsel Jack Smith in that courthouse. Our D.C. Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy is live in D.C. with the late breaking details. Ben.
Well, Nicole, Louis, Trump has left the federal courthouse here behind me, as you guys were talking about, but hundreds of people have still remained. In fact, it just began raining a bit, but it has not deterred this crowd as they wanted to witness this historic moment. Let's take you live to the motorcade heading to Reagan International Airport. That is Trump heading that way. We are told that 3 police officers who defended the U.S. Capitol on January 6th were in the courtroom, along with special counsel Jack Smith. And at one point, we are hearing that Smith and Trump looked at each other, had a bit of a moment, and then Trump did enter that not guilty plea. Former President Donald Trump seen leaving New Jersey, bound for D.C. It's there. More barriers were put up around the federal courthouse where Trump is set to appear, facing 4 criminal charges in connection to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Some gathered to support the former commander-in-chief.
For Trump, because he's been inappropriately indicted.
While others like Dominic Santana from Miami feel
Trump, your day is up.
Santana was in South Florida for Trump's arraignment in the classified documents case. Police say he was the man who jumped in front of the motorcade and was arrested.
Yeah, I got locked up.
Is that going to happen here?
No, hopefully not, because my daughter threatened me. She says, Daddy, if you get locked up, I'm not bailing you out.
The focus today in court is on Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, as the special counsel outlined alleged actions he took from organizing fake electors, claiming voter fraud, and even pressuring then Vice President Mike Pence to falsify and alter the results to declare Trump the winner.
President Trump is under siege in a way that we have never seen before. President Trump and his legal team and everyone on his team will continue to fight, not for him, but for the American people.
At a live look at that motorcade heading to Reagan Airport, 6 co-conspirators were named in the 45-page indictment, but at this point, Trump is the only person that has been charged. The judge did rule out if he is convicted, he could face up to 55 years in prison. That is, if he's convicted on all of the counts. Nicole, Louis.
So, Ben, as we watch the former president's motorcade arrive at the airport, this is not the only indictment he's facing. We know he's got the case in New York, the falsifying of business documents, the case here in Florida, mishandling classified documents. But this is also while he is the GOP frontrunner for the election. The prosecution has asked for a speedy trial. There's a lot going on, Ben. So what's going to happen in the next couple of months for the former president?
Well, Nicole, let's break down some of the dates here. His next hearing for this case is going to be on August 28th. On August 10th, Florida arraignment on the classified documents, superseding indictment. Also on the 10th, there is a hearing in Georgia on a motion to remove Fulton County DA. And then August 23rd is the first GOP debate. And again, Trump has not said if he plans to attend that debate. Nicole, you were just mentioning he is the front runner for 2024 at this point. And then on August 2nd in New York City is the civil trial versus Trump Organization. So a lot on the books in the next month or two.
Yeah, he has a full calendar ahead of him. Again, the prosecution in this case asking for a speedy trial, the magistrate responding that the former president will get a fair trial. And in the midst of all of this, we have Fulton County, which is the outlier here. Fani Willis has signaled that she expects the Fulton County grand jury to come back with an indictment possibly by September 1st or the days before that. So we'll see how this process plays out. The president's motorcade has just arrived at Washington National Airport. You see the Secret Service there with umbrellas. The president, of course, is surrounded by Secret Service at all times. He is not a flight risk. Therefore, he was released on his own recognizance. There are conditions to his release, and the judge underscored what those conditions are. Of course, the Trump must not violate any federal or state law. And it's interesting, the magistrate took time out to actually underscore the fact that interfering with any juror would be a crime, and therefore, if that were to happen, that would be in violation of the conditions of his release. He would be remanded into custody. Also, along those conditions, Trump must appear in court as directed and must sign an appearance bond. Trump must not communicate with anyone he knows to be a witness except through his lawyers or in the presence of lawyers. So very clearly outlined those conditions of his release.
So, Ben, as we continue to watch these live pictures, we're waiting for the former president to exit the motorcade. Ben, what was it like for you out there? Because you've been out there since earlier today. What has it been like for the people who support the president, the detractors? What have you been noticing your time out there?
Well, Nicole, Louis, the crowds have been growing each and every hour. It has been really a joint effort by the Secret Service and the Metropolitan Police to keep people
Ben,
safe.
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. The former president is
Thank
taking
you
to
very
the
much.
mic,
This is a
addressing
very
the media.
sad day for America, and it was also very sad driving through Washington, D.C. and seeing the filth and the decay and all of the broken buildings and walls and the graffiti. This is not the place that I left. It's a very sad thing to see it. When you look at what's happening, this is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America. This is the persecution of the person that's leading by very, very substantial numbers in the Republican primary and leading Biden by a lot. So if you can't beat him, you persecute him or you prosecute him. We can't let this happen in America. Thank you very much.
Do you want these trials to happen before the 2024
All right, the president
election?
again saying this is a political persecution, that he's beaten Biden by a lot. That's actually not accurate. The polls are neck and neck. It is a tight race, and it's only, August of 2023, so we'll see how this process plays out. Had very little to say. Again, very important to underscore what the indictment alleges, that this was fueled by lies by Trump, special counsel, accusing the former president of using his influence to try to subvert the results of the 2020 election. And the president has just boarded his plane. He's going to be bound for Bedminster, New Jersey. That's where his golf club is. And again, his first court appearance in this case will be August 28th at 10 a.m. The magistrate saying that Mr. Trump himself does not have to appear in person, so they don't have to actually consider his schedule with this first court appearance, but his lawyers will be there. The lawyers obviously want to delay this as much as possible, but it is clear that the magistrate and now the federal judge do intend to move with purpose as this legal process plays out.
And as the president makes his way out of Washington, D.C., stay with Local 10 for continuing coverage on this historic indictment, both on air and online at local10.com throughout the day.